Hey, what's up, guys? Spencer Rhodes here. So I am really excited for tomorrow's episode of The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 4. The reason I am excited is because the first 3 episodes have actually been good. Yeah, The Walking Dead has actually been good for the first time in a couple of years, in my opinion. 7 and 8 were just kind of mediocre, some good parts, some bad parts. Some of you know how I feel about those seasons, some of you might not. I'm not here to rehash that, but I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited for an episode of The Walking Dead. I don't know any spoilers. I've stayed away from spoilers. I mean, I know Rick's gonna die in the next couple of episodes, but that's not really a spoiler. Like, AMC announced that. Greg Nicotero announced that. He said he was directing his Andrew's last episode, and it would be episode 5. So beyond that, I don't know what's going to happen this Sunday's episode. I don't know if Maggie and Daryl are actually going to break into the Negan's jail. I don't know if they're going to kill Negan. I mean, if Negan's comic material is anything to go by, Negan has a while yet to live, but if Negan's comic material is also something to go by, then yeah, Maggie does have a confrontation with Negan. So the thing I'm wondering is, if Daryl and Maggie go to Negan's cell, are they going to have to break in? Are there going to be guards? I mean, surely Rick would be prepared for this sort of scenario. He knows that Maggie and Daryl are not completely in agreement with his decision with Negan, and that at some point they might have a really bad day and just snap and want to kill him, and he would want to have bodyguards placed there and everything like that. But maybe Rick just trusted Daryl and Maggie to do the right thing and not try to kill Negan. I don't know. Maybe with the passage of time, because it has been a year and a half or something like that, Rick thinks that if they're going to try to kill Negan, they would have done so by now. So maybe Negan's cell does not have bodyguards. Maybe Negan's cell is completely unprotected, and anyone could just go down there and kill him. I mean, that doesn't sound right. I think there would be at least a couple of bodyguards at all times, but we don't even know. We haven't really seen. Have we seen his cell being guarded by people? I haven't seen that. Maybe I missed that at some point in the first 3 episodes. I mean, he's only been in episode 2, so I don't know if Negan has bodyguards or not, or if anyone can just go to his cell, slit his throat, and not give a fuck. I mean, I don't know. But with Daryl and Maggie, you know, they've kind of snapped a little bit from the last episodes. Seeing Cindy and the Oceanside people kill Arat, and them talking about what Arat and the other saviors did to them and their people, and how Arat said no exceptions, specifically to Daryl and Maggie, of all people. Those are the 2 characters who would be the most emotionally affected by hearing that statement, no exceptions. Maggie, because it was her husband that died from those words, pretty much, said by Negan, and Daryl because he feels responsible for causing Glenn's death. So, in a way, Maggie and Daryl are the 2 most emotionally connected characters to Glenn's death, and for them to want to finally just snap and go and kill Negan and just bring an end to all that, it's sort of poetic because it's those 2 characters, not Carol or Michonne or Rick or anyone else. It's those 2 characters. It makes sense that it's those 2 characters. But, will they come face to face with Negan? I mean, if they come face to face with Negan, I can't wait for that. I cannot wait. I mean, Negan's gonna be shitting his pants a little bit. He's gonna have to have his shitting pants on, because he's about to shit his pants. If he sees Daryl and Maggie, I mean, I know that Negan is tough and he doesn't fear death, but I mean, him seeing Daryl and Maggie, that's going to be interesting. I just want to see the look in Daryl and Maggie's eyes, just all that anger and rage, just the dialogue, the back and forth. I'm just so excited for that. Am I the only one? I mean, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see them come face to face. And we haven't even really seen what Negan looks like yet. We've seen him in the shadows. We've seen his eyes. I know that he has graying hair and a big gray beard, but we really haven't completely seen him out of the shadows, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully this is the episode where that happens. I mean, I hope so. But like I said, with the comics, I mean, Daryl doesn't exist in the comics, but Maggie does have this confrontation with Negan. I mean, granted, it's much later into the story. I mean, not too much later, but later, after the Whisperer War, I believe. And but Maggie does go after Negan because Negan is just exiled from Alexandria. He does so much good that Rick lets him go. He can't be a part of Alexandria. He can't be a part of the communities, but he's not imprisoned anymore. He's just exiled. And Maggie's unhappy about this, so she goes after him, and she and Negan have this confrontation where Maggie wants to kill him. She points a gun at him, and then she even looks at Lucille, and Negan's like, I mean, yeah, you could kill me with that. And before then, we see Negan in the comics. He's on his own. He's sort of a broken man. He's trying to make the best of it. He's trying to be funny, but he's alone. In the comics, he's almost worse off than he was when he was imprisoned. When he was imprisoned, he still had like Rick to talk to, Carl to talk to. They would occasionally come down and visit. But when he's exiled, he is completely and utterly alone. There is no one to laugh at his jokes but himself. And he's just this broken man. And Lucille has also been destroyed at this point. I mean, they're not going to be able to do that next episode. I don't think they have time for that. They could, but in the comics, Lucille is destroyed, so Negan ends up making another Lucille, and he just kind of goes back and forth, and he starts thinking about his wife, and he almost seems to like he's contemplating suicide, and that's when Maggie goes to him. He ends up breaking down, and he collapses, and he tells Maggie to kill him. He tells Maggie, look, just kill me, please, just kill me. You know, I killed your husband, just remember that. You know, remember his eye popping out, just kill me. And then Maggie's like, no, and you gotta live with this. That's the moment where Maggie's like, no, he's living. He's gonna survive. And then she walks away. She realizes that the bigger punishment to Negan is letting him live. And I think that they can still do this. Even though it's earlier, it's much earlier than it is in the comics, they can still do this. If Maggie really is leaving, and they've said Maggie's leaving, but it's open-ended, whatever. Whatever. I mean, she's not Heath. I don't see how that's going to work. But that's the official thing. She's leaving, but it's open-ended, and she's leaving soon. She's only going to be in 5 or 6 episodes, and she's been in every one so far. So I don't know. It might make sense to go ahead and have this moment, even though it's earlier than the comics. Have this moment between Maggie and Negan, where Maggie points a gun at Negan's face, and they have this back and forth, and then Negan finally breaks down and just tells Maggie to kill him. And Maggie realizes that the greater punishment is to let Negan live. He's alone in this cell. He's rotting. He's suffering. I mean, he's not suffering too much, but he's isolated. Time's going to go by slower. He's never going to get out. He has to watch everything that he believed in be proven wrong by the fact that Rick really is able to bring everyone together and create this new world that Negan was so against, because Negan just wanted he wanted to rule by fear, and he wanted everything to be given to him by fear. So the greater punishment to Negan is to let Negan rot in his cell. And Maggie realizes this in the episode, and I think Daryl's just kind of ride or die with Maggie. I mean, Daryl's been ride or die with Maggie ever since he arguably caused events that led to Glenn's death. Daryl has been loyal to Maggie, completely and utterly loyal to Maggie. You can even argue that the reason why Daryl became such an angry, violent, ruthless person during All Out War is because that's kind of what Maggie told Daryl to do. Maggie told Daryl to help her win. and that Glenn's death wasn't his fault. And after that moment, Daryl just wanted to he didn't care about innocent people in the sanctuary. He just wanted to win no matter what, kill Negan no matter what. So, Daryl has his problems with Negan, but if Maggie decides that letting Negan live and letting him continue to rot in his cell is the correct decision to make, he's just going to roll with her. I mean, I kind of think that's what happened with Rot. Like, Daryl realized that Maggie just wanted Rot to die, so he went with that. And I think the same thing will happen. It's not going to be focused too much on Daryl. I'm sure Daryl's going to say some nasty shit to Negan. I mean, I hope he does. I hope they both do. But I think it really comes down to Maggie. It comes down to Maggie making the choice to let Negan live. And it could really be this beautiful thing, this beautiful end to these characters' story arcs, and it kind of comes full circle because Maggie and Daryl have really been two of the most miserable characters this season so far. And the reason being is that they're not happy with what happened with Negan. If Negan was dead, they'd probably be more okay with the Saviors. But Negan's locked up. This guy that killed Glenn is just locked up by Rick, and I think they're both bitter, and they've sort of carried that pain and anger with them for the whole time. Even between season 8 and season 9, they've carried that. It's been a part of them. They haven't been happy, and when they see Negan locked up, begging to die, that's when they're like, you know what? Rick's right. Let's let him live. Let's do the right thing. He's not having a good time anyway. Let's let him live. And maybe there's this scene in episode 4 where Rick is like, oh shit, they're Maggie and Daryl going to Negan. Maybe someone at Alexandria tells Rick Maggie and Daryl went to Negan. Maybe Maggie and Daryl pointed guns at people, and that's how they get into the cell. And when Rick comes back to Alexandria, he's like, oh shit, and he runs into Negan's cell, and then he just sees Maggie and Daryl peacefully walking out, and then they're like, you're right, Rick, the bigger punishment is to just let him live. It's this beautiful moment where Maggie and Daryl are finally at peace, and they accept the punishment of him being imprisoned. And Rick's happy, and he's proud of Daryl and Maggie. Keep in mind, Daryl and Maggie are two people that Rick cares about the most, probably. Besides Michonne, Carol, a couple of others, Maggie and Daryl are two of the people that he spent the most time with. He's known the longest, and he has a deep connection with those two. He would consider them siblings. So he would be proud of Maggie and Daryl making this decision to not kill Negan, because Rick has had conflicts with Daryl and Maggie the last few episodes. He's had arguments with them, so that way it all comes full circle, and Rick is even happier because Daryl and Maggie, the two people that wanted Negan dead the most, are agreeing with him, and it's this moment where he's proud. And then in episode 5, Rick's gonna die because it's just going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's going to happen. So it's like one more last happy moment where all that shit resolves itself, and then we can focus on Rick dying and sort of tie up those loose ends. So that is what I believe will happen in this episode. I could be wrong, but I believe that all of this will happen. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. We are currently at 153. I would like to try to get to 200 subscribers in the next few weeks, so please hit that subscribe button if you are interested. Just remember that every subscriber counts. So with all that said, I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.